Welcome to our special coverage of China's political season. The 14th National People's Congress will hold a news conference at the Media Center in Beijing. Officials from various sectors will take questions related to the people's well-being here. Let's go live to the scene. Well, we know that improving people's livelihoods has consistently topping the agenda of several annual government work reports. And this year, delivered by Chinese Premier Li Qiang at the NPC opening session, the report reviewed the government's efforts in enhancing people's livelihoods, such as welfare, last year, while setting out fresh targets for 2024. Let's listen in. Well, some quick notes. According to the report, over the past year, China's per capita disposable income increased by more than 6%. The income gap between urban and rural residents continued to narrow. Per capita income in rural areas, which have been lifted out of absolute poverty, grew by more than 8%.
媒体朋友们，大家好。14届全国人大20会议记者会
Welcome to this press
现在开始。
conference.
本场记者会的主题是
We will be
民生主
featuring
题。
people's livelihood
大会新闻
issues.
中心
We are
很高兴地
privileged
邀请
to
到
have
4位
with
嘉
us
宾
today four
出席今天的
speakers.
记者会，回答大
They
家
will
的提
take your
问。
questions
回应民
on
生
state
关切。
policies and people's
4位嘉宾
livelihood.
分别
They
是
are
教育部部长
Mr. Huai
怀进
Jinpeng, Minister of Education,
人力资源
Ms. Wang
和
Xiaoping,
社会保障部部
Minister
长
of Human
王
Resources
晓平
and
女士
Social Security,
住房和
Mr.
城乡
Ni Hong
建设部部长倪虹显
Minister of Housing and Urban Rural Development,
国家疾病预防
and
控制
Mr.
局
Wang
局长
Hesheng, Director
王
of
和
the
盛先生
National Administration of Disease Prevention and Control.
谢谢。
Thank you.
现在请直接开始提问。
Thank you. Now the floor is open for questions.
请北区第2排第1位女士提问，谢谢。
谢谢主持人，我是中国教育电视台的记者。我的问题想提给教育部的怀进鹏部长。那今年的心智生产力首次被写入到政府工作报告当中，而加快发展心智生产力是迫切的需要大批的拔尖创新人才。所以想请问教育部将采取怎样的举措来加强拔尖创新人才的培养呢？谢谢。
Thank you. China Education Television. This year, the concept of new quality productive forces was written into the government work report for the first time. To develop new quality productive forces at a faster pace, a large number of first-class innovators are urgently needed. What steps will the Ministry of Education take to better cultivate such high-caliber talent?
谢谢您的提问。
Thank you for this
心智生
question.
产力是习近
New
平总
quality
书记
productive
站在
forces
现代化
is
强
a
国建
major
设
theoretical
全局的高
innovation
度
by General
做
Secretary
出
Xi
的
Jinping
重大理
for
论创
China's
新。
overall
他系
modernization
统阐
drive.
述了
He gave a
心智生
systematic
产力的科学
elaboration
内
on
涵、
its
现
content,
实意义
relevance,
和
and
方法路径，
pathways
并
during
进一步提
a
出要深
recent
化
group
科技
study
体制、教育体制、人
and
才体
stressed
制改
that
革。
we must further the
打通
reform of
复
the
兴智生
SMT
产力发展
system,
的
education
铺垫发展
system, and talent system
今年政府
to
工作报
unclog the
告
barriers
也对
restricting its
加快发展
development.
心智
This
生
year's
产力做出
government
贡
work
献
report also
也
made
要求
relevant plans.
教育系统
Therefore, we in the
在
education
加
sector
强构建人才
must
自主培养体系，深化拔
better
尖创新
the
人才
system
培养方面
to train talent
进行
at home
改革
and
和创新。
cultivate top
首先，
innovators.
我很同意你的判
I
断，
agree with
加
you
快发展心智
that
生产力，迫切需要
to
大
develop
批
new quality productive forces, we need a large number of top innovators.
培育
At the same
发
time,
展心智生产力，
to nurture and
创新是
develop
核心
new
要素
quality productive
基
forces,
础和先导
innovation
靠
is
教育
at core,
来培养
and
拔尖
basic
创新
education is very
所以
important.
发展心智生产力
Therefore,
既需要
To develop these
牵引
productive
源头创新的
forces,
基础学科、
we
交叉学科和
need
新型学
top
科
talent
的
in
拔尖人
basic
才。
disciplines
也
that
需要
could
推进
lead
新
innovation,
型工业化道
but
路的
also outstanding
工程技术人才
engineers
和大国
and
工匠、
skilled
人工
craftsmen
巧匠
that could serve new
既需要科学
industrialization.
家，
We need not only
还需要一流科技
scientists,
领军人才
but
和
also
创新团队，
first-class
以
team
及
leaders in
大批
science and
青年科技
innovation,
人才队
as well as a large
更需
reserve
要
of
一
young
大批
scientists.
全面发展
We also need a large number of well-rounded younger generation. This is what is required, and this is the strength of China in developing such productive forces. We know that every trade has its master. Therefore, we must have China's own system to train talent at home so that we can give everyone the chance to shine, to bring happiness to the people, and give everyone the opportunity to contribute to national development. The new round of technological renovation and industrial transformation is accelerating. Therefore, we must have top talent because they are at the core of the competitiveness of a country, and they are important pillars supporting high-level SMT self-reliance. China's higher education is becoming more universally available with a gross enrollment rate of more than 60%. And the world's largest scale. We have a group of talents, and now the demographic dividends is turning into talent dividends. Therefore, to build China into a country leading in education and a world hub for talent and innovation, we must improve our ability to train talent at home, because this is very important and decisive in meeting the talent demand in developing new quality productive forces. We must proceed from what is most needed by the country and turn our advantage into real practice. This is a true test for our research and for our practical work. We must have the ability to discover, to support, and to evaluate top talent, and we need to support them at all stages of schooling. Therefore, we must first consolidate the basis. Therefore, we must focus on the nurturing of virtue. We will consolidate basic education and promote science education based on explorations, inspire students to embrace scientific spirit, and also give them more opportunities to practical explorations, to encourage primary and secondary school students' curiosity, imagination, and desire to explore. We will also better connect basic education with higher education and put in place a mechanism that connects all stages of schooling. At the same time, we will give full play to the leading role of higher education, carry out comprehensive reform, and meet the demand of development and the society, to have a better layout of disciplines and subjects, and to have a better system to train and evaluate talent, and have a better mechanism to train and nurture talents. In the reform of higher education, we will promote the diversified development of different universities to highlight their uniqueness. We know all kinds of talents in different areas are all needed in China's development. Therefore, such a comprehensive reform is very important, because we will train not only elites but also the general public. We will encourage different universities to expand their advantages and focus on basic disciplines, interdiscipline majors, and other subjects that are most needed by the country, including basic science and engineering. And also, we will focus on the training of doctors and scientists that are also very important to social and economic development, better integrate education sector and the industries. We will also focus on the main industries and the main development strategies of the country. In terms of the transfer of research outcomes, we will enhance interdepartmental cooperation and be creative in discovering and training talents. We will also enhance our support to young scientists, start to provide sustained, strong, and stable support at the beginning of their academic career, allow trial and error, tolerant failures, so that young people can be patient, resilient, and courageous in their research and produce original and disruptive outcomes. We hope that they could make unswerving efforts. They will be able to crack the hard nut, because this is the way for them to achieve success. At the same time, we will also lay out regional technology transfer and transformation centers to provide opportunities for young professionals to sharpen their tools. The training of talent is not only important to people's livelihood, but also to the long-term development of the country and the nation. We are confident, and we will resolutely pursue this path, discover and support more top talent at home, and provide strategic support and leading force for cultivating and developing new quality productive forces and realizing Chinese modernization. Thank you very much.
请大家继续提问。 请中区第3排第3位男士，谢谢。
谢谢。中国日报记者提问，关于就业的问题，我想提给王小平部长。中国就业总量压力和结构矛盾并存，请问如何看待当前就业形势？下一步在稳就业方面将采取哪些举措？谢谢。
Thank you. China Daily. A question on employment for Minister Wang. For China, there are both quantitative and structural employment challenges. What is your assessment of the current situation? What are some next steps for stabilizing employment?
Thank you for this question. Your question is actually about an overview of China's employment and our plans. China is a developing country with a large population. Employment concerns people's livelihood and the overall economic and social development. The CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, takes stabilizing and increasing employment as a priority and places strategic importance on it. Last year, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee, all sectors have pulled their strengths together. Employment situation in China has continued to improve and maintained overall stability. Over 12.44 million new urban jobs were created. The surveyed urban unemployment rate was 5.2% on average. Over 33 million people lifted out of poverty found new jobs last year. We have met our targets, improved people's livelihoods, and stabilized social expectations. Based on what we saw so far this year, employment was off to a good start. Enterprises resumed production, and migrant workers traveled back to work in a steady and orderly manner. Job markets are more vibrant, and job demands for professionals in AI and big data, people working in the service sector such as elderly care, hospitality, culture and tourism, as well as demands from micro and small-sized companies are increasing. And also demands for skilled workers are on the rise. Those changes are fueled by China's economic recovery and the unleashing of potential in service consumption. They also reflect the upgrading of traditional industries and development of new quality productive forces. The fundamentals sustaining China's long-term economic growth remain unchanged and has a solid foundation for high-quality development. We are in a good position to ensure employment, and we are confident in doing so. But we must also be aware of the pressure from increasing new entrants into the workforce and structural issues. Some people still face difficulty in finding jobs. More efforts need to be made to keep employment stable. Regarding this year's work, plans have already been laid out in the government work report. NPC deputies and CPPCC members also gave their valuable suggestions. We will work with relevant departments to implement the decisions made in the government work report, redouble our efforts to prioritize employment, do our best to stabilize employment, improve people's well-being, and promote development. We will focus on the following 5 aspects. First, stabilize job opportunities. It is the foundation of keeping employment stable. Last year, we have implemented this policy. Over 300 billion yuan was given directly to support employment and entrepreneurship. This year, we will implement and improve policies on unemployment insurance premium refunds, special loans, and employment and social insurance subsidies, so as to better unleash policy dividends. Second, expand employment channels. We will scale up support to private economy, SMEs, and other entities with a large capacity for creating jobs, and foster new growth drivers of employment, such as digital economy, silver economy, and green economy. We will continue to provide more support in terms of loans, tax and fees reduction, and venues, and boost employment by encouraging entrepreneurship. We will support and expand channels for flexible employment by encouraging the over 6,900 retail entities to help match supply with demand. Third, improve workers' skills. It is the key to addressing structural issues in employment. In recent years, our government has provided 18 million training opportunities, which increased the number of skilled workers. We will prioritize areas such as smart manufacturing, modern services, and elderly care, and launch training programs at a large scale. Fourth, provide better services. It is a key step to match supply with demand. Since the start of this year, 32,000 job fairs were held under the Spring Breeze Action Program, up by 20% year-on-year, and we arranged chartered railways and flights to help 880,000 people to travel to these events. We will arrange more job fairs of different kinds targeted at different groups to keep the good momentum and keep the job market vibrant. We will promote the model of big data plus door-to-door visits, set up service stations near people's homes, so as to provide efficient, convenient, and targeted services for the people. Fifth, support key groups. Over 11.79 million students are due to graduate from college this year. We will step up policy measures to promote employment for youth, expand market-based avenues, stabilize public sector employment, and improve guidance on employment and entrepreneurship. We will work earnestly to support employment of key groups such as ex-service members, migrant workers, and people with disabilities, and meet their basic living needs. At the same time, we will work with relevant departments to further regulate the human resources market, foster harmonious labor relations, ensure that migrant workers get paid on time, protect workers' lawful rights, and create an equal and sound environment. Thank you.
请大家继续提问。请南区第2排第2位女士，谢谢。
你好，我是马来西亚新洲日报的记者。我的问题是想提给倪部长。今年的政府报告提出稳步实施城市更新行动，请问为什么要稳步？有哪一些措施？谢谢。
My question is for Minister Ni. This year's government work report stated that urban renewal projects will be steadily advanced. Mr. Minister, what does the report mean by steadily advance and how will they be realized?
好，谢谢您的提问。
Thank you for your
城市
question.
更新啊，是城镇化发展的必然过
Urban
程，
renewal is a sure path of
是推进城
urbanization
市高质量发展的重要举措。
and an important move to advance
城市更新
urban
的目的
high-quality development.
就是让城市
The aim of
更宜
urban
居、
renewal projects
更韧性、
is to
更
make
智慧，
cities more livable,
让人民群
resilient,
众
and smarter.
生活在城
It's
市
also
里
about
能够更舒心、
enabling
更安心、
a
更
more
幸福。
convenient, relaxing, and happier
政
life
府
for
工
the
作报告
people.
提出啊，要稳
This year's
步
government's work
实
report
施
proposes
城市更新行动。
to steadily advance urban renewal projects.
我的体会啊，
On steadily,
就是今年政府
my
工
understanding
作
is that it
的
means
总基调
following the main principles
稳中
laid out
求
in
进，
this year's report,
以进
and that is
促稳。
pursuing
建立
progress
后
while ensuring stability, promoting
那么
stability
如
through
何
progress,
落实好
and establishing the
政府
new
工作报告
before
所提出的
abolishing
任
the
务，我
old.
想有2个方面。
So how are we going to put that into
一个
practice? I think there are two
在理念
aspects.
上啊，有
To
2 点。
begin with,
一
there
要
are two things we need to keep in mind with regard to the
强调
principles.
人民城
First,
市
we need to keep in
人民
mind
建
what General
人
Secretary
民
Xi
城市
Jinping said,
为人民，
that people's cities are built by the
坚持
people
以人
and
民为
for the
中心
people.
把惠民生、
In this spirit,
顺民
we
意、
will put people at the center
暖民心的各项具体更新工作，
and
扎扎实实
truly
做到
deliver
群众的心
on
坎上。
our well-being policies to meet
尊重
people's
历史
needs.
尊重规
Second,
律，
we
尊
will
重科
learn
学，
from history, follow the natural course of
从
things,
实际出
and
发，
respect science.
想明白，
We will
干
base
实
our
干，
policies on realities, think
既要
matters through,
尽力而
and
为，
take concrete
也
actions.
要量力而
And
行，
we need to both do our utmost and
在行
act
动上呢，
in accordance with our
也是
capacities.
2点。一是抓
As
体
for what
检，
we should do, there are
把
also two
问题
points.
找准，
First off, we need to carry out
城市和
body
人一样，
checks for cities and identify the
也是
problems.
一个有机的
Just
生
like
命
human beings,
人为了健康
cities are also alive.
需要体检，
People
城市为了
need
健康
body checks
也
for
需要
their
体
health, and so do cities.
那么怎么去体检？
So how
我想2个方
to
面，
examine a city?
一个方面
I think at
坚
least
持
two
问
things
题导向，
should be kept in mind. First
从
is
厨
that
房
we
开
need to
始
be problem
到
oriented,
小区，到
starting
社
from
区，
houses
到城区，
to neighborhoods
去
and
找
to communities
群
and
众身边
cities.
的急难愁烦。
We will search for the pressing issues that concern people the most.
第2个呢，就是坚持目标导向，
And secondly, we also need to be
去查找
focused on our
影响
goals
城市竞争力、
and look
承载
for
力和可持续发展的
things that
短板、
affect
弱项
the。city's competitiveness, accommodation capacity,
体
and
检所找出来的
sustainability.
问题，就是我们
The
城市
problems
更新
identified
要
during
重
these
点
party
解
checks
决的问题。
will serve as the priorities in our urban
所
renewal
以说，在行动上的第2个方面
projects.
就是抓重点，
So
解决问题。
secondly,
3
the
个重
second
点
thing is that we need to cut to the
第一个
chase and resolve key
是
issues.
民生工程。报告所提出啊，
That includes
推动
three
解决
groups of
老旧小
projects.
区
The
加
first
装
group
电梯
concerns people's well-being.
停车
The report laid
等
out the
难题
plan to resolve
加强
problems
无障碍
like
私老化
installing
设施建
elevators
设。
and parking shortages in
我
old
们打算
residential compounds
今年
and develop
再改
barrier-free
造
and age-friendly
5万个
facilities.
老旧小区，
Our plan is
建
to
设一批
renovate
完整的
another
社区。
50,000 old
借
residential
此机会
compounds
啊
this
我也
year
和大家
and
通
build
报
a
一
group
下
of communities with
去年的
well-developed
情况。
service facilities. I also wish to take this opportunity to brief you on our work last year. Last year, about 66,000 urban renewal projects were carried out nationwide, with a total of 2.6 trillion yuan of investment. Among them, 53,000 old residential compounds started renovation, benefiting over 22 million people. 36,000 elevators were installed. 850,000 parking spots were built, and 21,000 elderly care, child care, and other community service facilities were set up. About 100,000 kilometers of pipelines, like gas pipelines, were renovated. Over 4,100 pocket parks were built. Over 5,300 kilometers of greenway were laid. And 11,000 square kilometers of open space of lawns were created. It's often these small things that constitute the weighty theme of people's well-being. None of these work is easy. Like installing elevators is not easy to get the residents to see eye to eye, and nor is it easy to find the right spot for building parking lots. Many issues we face are dilemmas. But however difficulty they might be, as long as the people need it, we will think out ways to resolve each and every one of these problems without fail, to the benefit of the people. Just like our friends from the press asked me, we need to solve these problems. To do that, we have our traditional wisdom of good neighborliness. We watch out for each other and help each other out. We need to follow that tradition and truly deliver on all these well-being projects. The second group of projects is important, although invisible to our eyes. According to the report, we will move faster to improve underground pipeline networks. This year, we will continue to renovate aged pipelines for gas and water supply, drainage, and heating, with an annual target of more than 100,000 kilometers. Underground pipelines are important projects that, though do not meet our eyes, bear on the well-being of the people. We ask the local governments to do their utmost with all their heart and ensure their quality. The third group is safety projects. The report proposed the building of livable, resilient, and smart cities. As I understand it, neither of these three features can do without having safety as the basis. On boosting this safetiness, we plan on doing the following two things. The first is improving cities' capacities for drainage, and the first is advanced construction on urban lifeline safety projects, which means using digital means to monitor urban water supply, drainage, gas pipeline, heating, bridges, and pipelines to identify and tackle problems from early on and to resolve them, so as to boost the city's capacities for ensuring safe operation. Secondly, we need to boost our capacity to help cities improve their drainage system. We plan to start addressing waterlogging problems at more than 1,000 locations in 100 cities. We will faithfully implement the decisions and plans of the Party Central Committee, steadily advance urban renewal projects, and strive for new progress in urban high-quality development. Thank you.
请大家继续提问。请中区第二排穿蓝色衣服的女士，谢谢。
谢谢主持人。中央广播电视总台央视记者提问，我的这个问题是提给国家疾控局的王局长。那疾控工作呢和人民健康福祉是息息相关的。那么在围绕着疾控事业的高质量发展，您能否可以谈一下疾控体系的建设有哪些新的变化？下一步为人民健康如何发挥更好的作用？谢谢。
China Central Television. My question is for Administrator Wang. Disease prevention and control has a direct bearing on people's health and well-being. In relation to the high-quality development of disease prevention and control, could you tell us how the disease prevention and control system has evolved and how it will work to safeguard people's life?
好，谢谢您的提问。
Thank you for the question. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank you, friends from the press, for your care and support for our work relating to disease prevention and control. General Secretary Xi Jinping and the CPC Central Committee have attached great importance to the building of a disease prevention and control system and made strategic plans on reforming and improving such a system. Since the establishment of our administration, we have resolutely implemented the decisions of General Secretary Xi Jinping and the CPC Central Committee. The guiding principles on high-quality development of disease prevention and control were approved by the State Council. We have upheld and strengthened the party's central and unified leadership over our work, streamlined our system and mechanism, clarified our functions, and improved our professional capabilities, as evidenced by the following 5 mores. First, monitoring and early warning have become more agile. We have made continued efforts to streamline systems, expand monitoring channels, regulate early warning, and improve professional capabilities. We have established and improved the data-driven monitoring and early warning system for infectious diseases, with subsystems including Sentinel Hospital, virus mutation monitoring, and urban sewage monitoring system. We have increased information and data sharing with other departments. This has enabled us to predict the dynamics of epidemics and make early arrangements and effective response. Second, emergency response has become more effective. We have set up 20 national emergency response teams for acute infectious diseases. Wherever there were a breakout, we would be able to immediately send medical teams. For example, when an earthquake hit Gansu last December, 3 national medical teams based in Gansu and Qinghai arrived at the affected areas immediately and helped disinfect the environment, monitor infectious diseases and drinking water quality, and assess possible risks, which helped prevent a major breakout of diseases after the earthquake. In the future, we will set up another 5 national medical teams as well as emergency squads at city and county levels, which will further improve our capacity for emergency response. Third, technical teams we adopted have become more advanced. We have fully applied latest scientific and technological outcomes and in IT to make our prevention and control efforts more science-based and targeted. With a national direct reporting system in place, which is also the largest in the world, reporting time of infectious diseases is cut from 5 days to 4 hours. At the national level, a system that is able to identify pathogens from 300 kinds within 72 hours has been established. 100% of provincial level and 20% of municipal level CDCs are able to give nucleic acid tests and conduct virus isolation. A national epidemiological investigation system and the hotline 95120 were set up, which helped increase the efficiency of our relevant work. Fourth, our supervision has become more forceful. We have continued to strengthen the comprehensive supervisory system in the field of health, increased the use of IT in law enforcement at the community level, applied smart technologies in supervision so as to build up our capacities. We have designated supervisors for medical institutions on a trial basis and increased our efforts to supervise over areas that have a direct bearing on people's health, such as infectious diseases, prevention and control, and public health. In 2023, 4.3 million inspections were carried out nationwide, and illegal acts were found out and punished, effectively protecting people's right to health. Fifth, our work on popularization has become more down to earth. We continue to conduct public health risk assessment. And on topics like the prevention and control of infectious diseases, heat waves and other extreme weather events, earthquakes, floods and other natural disasters, disease prevention and control during holidays, and other topics of public concern, we released guidelines and health notices and invited experts to explain the guidelines to the public in a timely manner. These measures effectively answered people's concerns and helped raise public awareness on public health, and helped foster a good social environment for public participation in disease prevention and control. Going forward, we will continue to put people's health front and center, move faster to advance high-quality development of disease prevention and control, and foster high-level security, further strengthen the public health safety nets, provide strong and solid support for protecting people's health, and safeguard social and economic stability. Thank you.
请北区后排第5排第2位男士提问，谢谢。
感谢主持人。工人日报记者提问，我的问题提给王小平部长。增强技能队伍建设，增强技能人才队伍建设，对推动经济高质量发展具有重要作用。请问，在这方面我们都有哪些举措？谢谢。
Workers Daily. My question is for Minister Wang. Strengthening the capacity building of skilled workers is important to advancing high-quality economic development. What measures do we have in place to this end?
好，感谢工人日报
Thank you for your interest in this field of work. Capacity building of skilled workers is an important pathway for human resources development and a key measure to address structural issues in employment. So far, there are over 200 million skilled workers in China and over 60 million highly skilled talent, which provides strong support to China's high-quality development. However, we still lack skilled workers for new industries, new models, and new driving forces. As well as technicians such as fitters, welders, and care workers. Training programs are still catching up with the changes in market demand and industrial development. General Secretary Xi Jinping has made important instructions on multiple occasions regarding work on training skilled workers. During this year's 2 sessions, he also stressed that skilled workers are the foundation of China's development. This year's government work report has also made clear requirements on training skilled workers. We will earnestly implement the decisions made by the CPC Central Committee and the State Council and take an integrated approach to training, utilizing, assessing, and incentivizing skilled workers, and speed up efforts to build a larger and stronger talent pool. To be more specific, first, we will focus on supporting industrial development. With the aim to foster new growth drivers, we will provide stronger talent support for strategic emerging industries and future industries, and ensure that workers can better meet job requirements and increase productivity. For example, we will increase training programs in such areas as digital technology, smart manufacturing, big data, blockchain, and integrated circuits. And we will also cultivate more highly skilled workers in advanced manufacturing, modern services, and elderly care. We will also increase input into the building of training centers for highly skilled workers and studios for craftsmen, and create platforms for carrying forward and showcasing their skills. Second, we will explore new ways of training talent. We will follow the logic of talent cultivation and build mechanisms for sound interactions with enterprises. Enterprises should play the primary role, and technical and vocational schools should also participate in the building of education models featuring cooperation between enterprises and schools. We'll promote a new type of apprenticeship, foster a sound ecological system, and align with the demands of training highly skilled workers. Some localities have explored the training model where workers, once completing their courses, can acquire the needed skills and meet job requirements. Third, we will pave the way for career development. We will gradually remove the ceiling and expand channels for skilled workers to develop themselves. Incentivize young people to acquire new skills and find jobs in factories. Encourage enterprises to carry out independent evaluation on skilled workers, fully implement the new professional title system with 8 technical titles in a bid to expand room for career development. We will expand areas where highly skilled workers and professional workers can develop in parallel, and diversify the channels for career development. We will also provide more guidance on salary distribution for skilled workers in specific provinces and cities and raise their salaries. Fourth, we will create a sound environment. We will promote the spirit of model workers and craftsmen, foster a sound environment that supports the development of skilled workers. Incentivize the public with awards and honors, such as National Skills Award and National Technical Master Hand. We will organize various vocational skills competitions so as to inspire enthusiasm across the society for valuing and learning skills. Last year, we held the second National Vocational Skills Competition in Tianjin. The competition events covered 75% of industrial categories and attracted around 100,000 people to sign up for training and selection, which has produced positive social impact. This year, China will participate in the 47th World Skills Competition in France and will hold a series of national vocational skills competitions. We hope you will give more coverage on those events. Thank you.
谢谢。请大家继续提问。请南区第3排第1位女士，谢谢。
谢谢主持人，我是深圳卫视直新闻的记者。我的问题想要提给倪虹部长。倪部长您好，我们注意到社会各方面都十分的关注房地产发展新模式，想要请问住建部将采取哪些措施来推动构建新模式呢？谢谢。
Shenzhen Media Group. My question is for Minister Ni. Across society, people have quite an interest in the idea of a new development model for real estate. What measure will the Ministry of Housing and Urban-Rural Development take to foster such a model?
谢谢你的提问。
Thank you for your
党
question.
中央提出构建
The
房
Party
地产
Central Committee
发展新模
proposes
式，
to build a new
我想
development model
这是
for
破
real
解
estate.
房地产发展难题，
I think
促进房地产市场平稳健康的治本
this
之策。
is the fundamental way out of the difficulty facing the housing market and the way to promote its sound and steady development.
在理念上，
And how
要
to
始
develop
终
such a
坚持
model?
房子是用来
In my
住的，
perspective, there
不是
are at
用来
least
炒
3
的定
points.
位。
First, the general principles are always stick to the principle that houses are for living in, not for speculation. Improve the supply system with dual focus on both government-subsidized and market-regulating housing. The government should ensure basic housing demands, and different kinds of other housing demands can be regulated by the market. Also, a system that encourages both renting and purchasing will be established. These measures can make sure that people can have good houses to live in. And second, in terms of mechanism, first is to build a new mechanism to coordinate people, houses, land, and funds. These factors need to be effectively allocated. And people's demands should serve as the basis for housing plans, which in turn will be used to plan out the use of land and funds. This is how we can balance supply and demand and stabilize the market. And this is implemented by guiding subnational regions to formulate housing development plans. And second, we will improve the whole process management mechanism of houses, starting from their development to construction, all the way to their maintenance and utilization. This is a very systematic undertaking. In terms of house supply, we need reforms in the basic systems of developing, funding, and selling commodity houses, and facilitate existing home sales in an orderly manner. And on housing utilization, we will speed up developing systems like house body checks, special funds for repairing houses, and house insurance, etc. Thirdly, in terms of implementation, there are two priorities. First, we will plan and build government-subsidized houses, advance the building of public infrastructure that can be used in both normal and emergency circumstances, and redevelop urban villages. These measures can both benefit the people and facilitate the transition. Planning and building government-subsidized houses is an important move to improve the residential housing system and its supply system. The key is to explore new ways to increase the number of government-subsidized houses for sale. Building public infrastructure that can be used in both normal and emergency circumstances is an important measure to coordinate development to make cities more resilient. The key is that these infrastructures should be necessary in normal circumstances and can come into use during emergencies. Renovating urban villages is a project that concerns people's well-being, that can solve their pressing needs. The focus is on eliminating security risks, improving living environment, promoting industrial upgrade, and high-quality urban development. Last year, the State Council released 3 guidelines in a row on these measures. This year, we will focus on launching constructions and ensuring quality and safety to produce tangible outcomes as quickly as possible. So that's the first aspect. The second aspect is that we will make great efforts to build good houses. At the end of the day, housing development aims to give people good houses to live in. So what are good houses then? Good houses can be built at any price level and come in different sizes. We will guide house designers to produce good designs and encourage companies to develop good products, materials, and equipment. We hope to see intersector cooperation so that green, low-carbon, smart, and safe houses will be built to let our people live healthily, conveniently, and safely. I hope that under this new model, the real estate companies can see that in the future, they will have to compete for higher quality, more advanced technology, and better services. Whoever can seize the opportunities to make that transition, whoever can build good houses and provide good services, will win the market, secure its development, and enjoy a bright future. Thank you.
请中区第4排第2位女士，谢谢。
谢谢主持人，我是中国精神文明网记者。我的问题想提给教育部怀部长。今年我国将开展基础教育扩优提质行动。请问，教育部将采取什么措施来落实这个行动，努力满足人民群众对上好学的期盼？谢谢。
文明.cn. My question is for Minister Huai. This year, China will launch an initiative to upgrade basic education. What measures will the Ministry of Education adopt to deliver on that, so as to meet people's expectations for a good education?
谢谢这位记者朋友的提问。
Thank you for this question.
首先啊，我向各位媒体记者朋友们
Let
报
me
告
start
点数据和
by
基本
first
情况，
sharing with you
这是
some
关于中国
numbers
举办
in
的世界上规模最大的
China's
基础
education.
教育。
China's basic
到目
education
前为
has the
止，
largest
我
scale
们
in the world.
全国一共
Now
有中小
we
学、
have
幼儿园
altogether
48.79万所，在校学生2.3亿人，教师1610万。
480 schools
每个
from
孩子后面
preschools to middle schools, and 230 million children, and behind every child there are concerned families. So I have to say that basic education bears on the happiness of millions of families, because this question, I should say, concerns every family and everyone in China.
我们用了大概有20年的时间，
China took only
走完
a
了发
little
达国
over
家
20
100年
years
的
to
义
make
务教育
compulsory education universally
在世
available,
界
which
9
took
个
developed
发展
countries
中
over
人口
100
大
years. We are
第
the
一个
first
实
among
现
the 9
9年义
most
务教育
populous
普及的国
developing
家。
countries to have a
这10
nationwide
年来，我们国
9-year
家基础
compulsory
教育
education.
取得了历史性成
Over the
就，
past
也发生
decade,
了历史性的变
historic
化。
achievements and
在
structural
基础教育各
changes
学
have
段
taken
的普
place
及
in
程度
China's basic
已经达
education.
到
The
超
availability
过
of basic education at
OECD
all
经合组
stages
织
of
中高收入
schooling
国家的
has
平均
reached
水
or
平。
even passed the
其
average
中
of
学前
mid
教
and
育和
high
义务教育
income
达
countries,
到了高
among
收入
which
国家
that
的
of
平均水平。
preschools and compulsory
去
education
年
have reached
11月，
that of high income
中
countries.
国上海
Last November,
在
in
联
Shanghai,
合国教科文组织
working
第
together
42次的大会
with
上，
UNESCO and
同意
during
在
the
中国
42nd
举办
conference of UNESCO,
STEM
we
教育研究
established
所。STEM 就是
a UNESCO
科
STEM
学、技术、工程
Institute.
和数学，这就是我们中国人常称的、常讲的，
So
就
all the
是
4
数理化
disciplines
奴
of
役。
STEM are very
这
important
也
to
是
the Chinese
联合国
people.
教科文组织在欧美
This
发达国家之外首次设立
Institute
的
is the
一类
first
研究所，
established
在很大的程度上也
by
标志着中
UNESCO
国
outside
在人才培
European
养、
countries
在
and
理工农
outside
医
the United
STEM 教育
States.
方面，
So it will
它的一个基本
boost
情况。
our development of
习近平总书
STEM
记指出，人民对
related
美好生活
disciplines
的
in
向往
China.
就是我们
General
的奋斗目
Secretary Xi
标。
Jinping stressed that
现在面向
people's
中国式
aspirations
现代
to
化
live
建
a
设，
better life
我
must
们的基
always
础
be
教
the
育
focus
正
of
在
our
迈入
efforts.
全面提高育人
China's
质
basic
量的新阶
education
段。
has entered a
为
new
满足人
stage
民群众
toward
日益
better
迫切的
quality.
上好学的愿
People
望，
are
今
urgently
年政
looking
府
for
工作
good
报告当
education,
中
and this
特
year's
别提
government
出
work
要
report
实施基
also
础教育
launched an
扩优提质
initiative
行
to
动。
upgrade
我
basic
理解所
education.
谓扩优提质
In my
行动，就是要
analysis,
把基
to
础教育
upgrade
的
basic
整体的
education
质量
means that
提
we
得
should
更高，
further enhance its quality
把优质教育
and
资源
make
的蛋
the
糕
pie of
做得
quality
更大，
resources
而
bigger
让我们整
so
个教育
that
的发
it
展
can
成果
benefit
和
more
人才培
children
养的能力更多、更公平的
in a
来惠
more
及到适龄
equitable
儿童
manner
和青少年，真正的实
so
现
that
有
we
学
can
上
truly
到
move
上好学
from
这一个
ensuring
根本性
only
的转变。
access to
具
education
体
to
怎么实
access
现
to good？
我想我从
education.
5个方面
What are the
向各位
ways?
做个
I will
报告。
elaborate in 5
一是要
areas.
结构布局
First,
扩优提质，
we will
就是进一
optimize
步
the
优化
layout.
学校的布局。当前和未来
In the coming
一段
future,
时期，我们要适应人口的变化
we will
和
adapt
新
to
型
the
城镇化
changes
在中国
of
现代化建设
demography as well
的整个
as
进程。
new urbanization.
为此，我们在推动建立
Therefore,
县域基础教育
we are working
学龄
on
人口
the
变化
establishment of a
监测和
monitoring
报
and
告
early
系统
warning system for changes in the school-age population at the county level to optimize education resources in urban and rural areas, and improve the conditions of rural boarding schools and some underdeveloped urban schools. We will run necessary small-scale rural schools, strengthen the development of regular high schools at the county level, and strive to expand education resources at the senior high school level so that more children can go to good schools in their neighborhood. Second, we will further increase quality learning opportunities. We will continue to improve the conditions of underdeveloped schools in central and western regions. At the same time, we will build a batch of new quality schools, expand the enrollment of existing quality schools, conglomerate a group of schools, and pair up a group of rural and urban schools. In this way, we hope that we can have more quality schools, improve weak ones, and promote the balanced development of compulsory education and the integration of rural and urban areas, narrow the quality gap between regions, urban and rural areas, and different schools, so that more schools can be recognized by the people as good schools. Third, we will improve our ability in teaching and education, that is, to give equal emphasis on all 5 aspects of education, build a system that comprehensively cultivates morality, intellectual ability, physical fitness, aesthetics, and labor skills, to have good textbooks, to enhance science education while reducing unnecessary burdens of students, encourage reading among young people, ensure that students have 1 hour of physical exercise every day and sufficient recess activities, train their labor skills and habits, and take effective measures to try to have fewer students that have glasses, fewer students that are overweight, and improve their mental health, to reduce students' unnecessary burdens and promote the all-round development and healthy growth of students. And fourth, we need to further train our teachers. Not long ago, we had a seminar focusing on the ethos of educators. We have an outstanding student from Guangxi province who was sharing with the conference about the ethos of educators, stressing the importance of love and care in education. We must have this loving and caring spirit in the training of teachers. In order to have a high-quality education, we will vigorously implement national plans on teachers' training. We have a special program that will encourage world-class universities in China to strengthen the training of primary and secondary school teachers. And we will try to attract more talent to become teachers. And to train teachers, we will also try to enhance the political, social, and professional status of teachers and attract more outstanding talent to become long-term teachers. We will vigorously promote the ethos of educators, encourage teachers to have higher moral groundings and excellent competence, to become someone who can lead by example, and to become someone who can give students a memorable growing experience in schools. To build China into a leading country in education, the strengths of teachers are very important. Therefore, we must try to improve the social respect for teachers and help teachers to be more dedicated and focused on teaching jobs. Fifth, we will further strengthen coordination between school, family, and society. We often say that family is a child-first school, and society is a melting point as they grow up. Only one synergy is formed between family, society, and school can our children have a better environment. We hope and we will be working with parents to have a scientific concept of education to create good family atmosphere. We will mobilize best resources from the society to expand students' experience, to have more quality resources to help students and to train their abilities and test their resilience. In this way, our children can grow up happy and healthy with the care and the support from the whole society. Cooperation between family, school, and society are all very important in the future of our children. And such cooperation is also very important in the quality development of China's basic education.
请大家继续提问。请中区第一排第3位女士，谢谢。
南方周末记者提问，我的问题提给王贺胜局长。大家对艾滋病、结核病、肝炎等传染病的防控问题都很关心。请问目前我国在遏制这些重大传染病、改善人民群众健康水平方面的情况如何？谢谢。
Southern Weekly. My question is for Administrator Wang. Prevention and control of infectious diseases such as AIDS, TB, and hepatitis is something people care very much about. How is China doing in containing these major infectious diseases and protecting people's health?
好，谢谢您的提问。
Thank you
传
for
染
this
病防控
question.
关系人民群
The
众的
prevention
生
and
命安
control
全
of
和身体
infectious
健康，
diseases not only bear
关
on
系
people's
经济
safety
社
and
会发
well-being,
展，
but also
也关系
affect
国家的
social
安
and
全稳
economic
定。
development and security
疾
of
控系统
stability of a
坚决
nation.
贯彻
We
习
in
近
the
平总
disease
书记
prevention and control
关于
system
疾病防
have
控的重要
resolutely
指示批
implemented
示
the
和
important
党中央、国
instructions
务
of
院的
General
决策
Secretary
部
Xi Jinping and decisions of the
坚
party
持
and the
预防为
government.
主，防治结
Prioritized
合，
prevention while also
推动
enhancing treatment
传染病的
efforts
防控
and
取得了
made
显著的成效。
major achievements in the prevention and
主要
control
体现
of
在3个一批：
infectious diseases. They could be summarized in 3
一是
aspects.
消除了一批，
First, a group of diseases have been eliminated.
即消灭天花、
After ending
消除丝
smallpox,
虫病、脊
filariasis,
髓灰质炎、
polio, and
新生儿破伤
neonatal
风之后，
tetanus.
党的18大以来，
After the 18th
在
CPC
总书
National
记和
Congress,
党中央的坚强领导下，
under the strong leadership of
经过了
General
不懈的
Secretary
努
Xi
力
Jinping and the CPC Central Committee, we
2021
have
年
made earnest efforts
我国
and
又消除了疟疾，
eliminated malaria in
结束了这
2021,
一严重危害
a
人民健康
disease
的
that has
重点传染
affected
病。
the Chinese people
肆虐千
for
年的历史，
thousands of years.
在我国公共卫
This
生
is
史上
not only a
具有
milestone
里
in
程碑的意
China's
义，
public health,
也为全球
but
公共卫
also
生事业
an
做出了
important
重要的贡献，
contribution to the global
得到
public
了
health
国际社会
endeavor
的高度赞
and
誉。
is highly applauded by the international
世界卫
community.
生组织
The World
发
Health
布新闻公
Organization
报称，
congratulated China
中国疟
on
疾
this
感染
notable
病例
feat, saying
由
that we
1940
have
年的
reduced
3000
malaria
万
cases from
减少
30 million in the
至零
1940s
是一
to
项了不起的
zero.
壮举。二是控制的一批，
Second, a group of diseases have been
目
controlled.
前，艾滋病、
Currently,
结核
AIDS,
病、
TB,
乙肝、
hepatitis B
丙
and
肝、
C,
血吸虫
and
病等重大
schistosomiasis
传染
have
病，
all been brought
都得到
under
了有效的
effective
控制。
control.
艾滋病
Take
经
AIDS,
输
for
血
example.
和血
The
制品传
transmissions
播
through blood
基本阻
transfusion
断。
and blood products have been
母
basically
婴传
cut
播
off. Mother to
和
child
注射吸
transmission
毒传
and
播
transmissions through
降
drug
至历史
injection
的最低
are
水
at
平。
a historic low.
感染者抗病毒治疗
Success
成功
rate
率
of antiviral
达到了
treatment is now
95%
over
以上。
95%.
每年新
Newly
报告感染
reported
者数、
infections and
感染者
mortality
病死率
are both
均呈下降
on
趋
a
势。
declining curve.
我国艾滋
And
病
nationally,
疫情
the prevalence
整
in
体
China
处于
is
低流
low.
行水平。
As for TB, the prevalence is steadily declining, and the success rate of treatment is kept over 90%, and mortality lowered to that of developed countries. New infections of hepatitis are greatly reduced. With the universal vaccination of hepatitis B in newborn babies, the infection rate of under 5-year-olds is kept under 1%. And this has saved tens of millions of Chinese children from infection. Third, a group of diseases have been reduced. The incidence of vaccine-preventable diseases such as measles, encephalitis B, and epidemic meningitis have dropped to a historic low. Take measles, for example. Recent years in China, only 500 to 600 cases are reported every year, which signifies a quite low prevalence globally. The prevalence of major parasitic diseases such as echinococcosis and ascariasis have remarkably declined, entering a new stage toward control or elimination. Despite all these achievements, however, we are keenly aware that China still faces risks of new and emergent infectious diseases. There is still a long way to go for us to consolidate what we have achieved. The situation ahead remains complicated. This year's government work report emphasized that we must prevent and control key infectious diseases. We will continue to earnestly implement the instructions and decisions, draw experience and lessons from the past, improve the system, upgrade strategies and plans, consolidate the achievements, and try our utmost to reduce the threat of infectious diseases on people's health and social and economic development.
请北区中间的这位男士举手。对，谢谢。
谢谢主持人。人民日报海外版记者。我的问题想提给王小平部长。人社领域公共服务与我们每个人的日常生活关系密切，不仅事项多，频次也很密。我想请问部长，在实施高效办成一件事、提升公共服务质量方面有哪些考虑？谢谢。
People's Daily. My question is for Minister Wang. Public services in the field of human resources and social security are closely linked with the daily life of every one of us. A large number of procedures must be cleared within a short span of time. Madam Minister, my question is, what are some considerations with regard to promoting one-stop government services and improving the quality of public services?
感谢您的提问。
Thank you for
人事
this
部门
question.
是重要的民生部
Human
门，
resources and social security departments are closely related to people's livelihood.
见面对照。
Everything we do needs to be judged by the public and have a direct bearing on their interests. Improvement in the quality and efficiency of public services will help deliver on policies to benefit the people and
群众办事的
increase their satisfaction rate and sense of gain and facilitate their needs. It is clearly stated in this year's government work report that we will promote one-stop government services to enhance our service levels. The Human Resources and Social Security departments will focus on meeting the urgent needs of the public, continue to improve the quality and efficiency of government services, and deliver better experience for the people. First, we will integrate resources to unclog the channels for providing services, such as save the troubles for the people. We will integrate our services, set clear standards, items, and procedures, so that people can enjoy one-stop services, both online and offline, and we can directly respond to their needs. We will expand the coverage of government services and mobilize banks, post stations, and community-level workers to deliver services straight to the people and meet their needs of having more services stations close to their homes. We will introduce call-out services or exempt application procedures and help the elderly people and people with disability by running the errands for them or providing tailored services. Second, we will improve the quality and efficiency of services. We will tear down the barriers between different provinces and cities and deliver government services in a more efficient manner. We have streamlined procedures, reduced paperwork, and cut down time, cancelled 65% of required documents, and cut the time needed for completing all the procedures by 30%, and expand the coverage of one-stop services. Subsidies are given in a direct and efficient manner. The policy of waiving excessive documents with the written consent will be promoted. We will also provide more inter-provincial government services by leveraging platforms such as the National Human Resources and Social Security Government Services and the National Social Insurance Public Services. 40 types of interprovincial services were open to the public in such areas as innovation and entrepreneurship, social security, and talent cultivation. We will continue to increase such services and make those services more accessible. Third, we will use digital technologies to provide smart services. We will fully apply digital technologies in work relating to human resources and social security and accelerate the building of an integrated information platform that uses digital and smart technologies. We will help people run different errands within one stop and deliver targeted policies to benefit people and enterprises. For example, we will establish a national platform for employment services, promote the model of big data plus door-to-door visits, and cement the foundation for high-quality work relating to employment. We will also advance digital transformation, use big data to find people who are not yet covered by social insurance, and expand the coverage of social security and social insurance programs. And I would like to take this opportunity to say a few more words on the one-stop item of Social Security card. It is a basic thing that enables government to provide services for the public. So far, 98% of the people in China has one, and 970 million have e-cards. In 2023, e-cards met 15.1 billion service requests. It covers a wide range of services, including government, medical, transportation, culture, and tourism services. We will work with relevant departments to provide more thoughtfully designed services, promote digitalization, and increase the use of all-in-one cards in cities, provinces, and the whole country, so that people can run their errands more conveniently. In a nutshell, we will continue to improve our work, provide more heartwarming services in a more efficient manner, and deliver tangible benefits to the people. Thank you.
请大家继续提问。请蓝区第6排第2位女士，谢谢。
谢谢主持人。大家好，我是香港《星岛日报》记者。我的提问是提给怀敬鹏部长的。我们注意到今年初，中国召开了世界数字教育大会， 取得了良好的反响。您也发表了数字教育应用共享创新的主旨演讲，提出了用数字之光开启那个希望之门的愿景。请问下一步数字教育将采取哪些重大的举措呢？谢谢。
好，谢谢这位。
Singtao Daily. My question is for Minister Huai. The World Digital Education Conference held in China earlier this year was a great success. Mr. Minister, in your keynote speech titled Promoting Joint Application, Sharing and Innovation of Digital Education, you called for illuminating the way forward with the light of digital technology. What are some major steps the Ministry of Education will take to advance digital education?
Thank you for this question from our friend from Hong Kong. I wish to first thank you for following the World Digital Education Conference. This is indeed an important international exchange platform. It is also a platform for cooperation. Digital education is an important part of China's overall digitalization. It is also an important breakthrough point to open up new fields in education and shape our advantages. In this way, with digitalization, we could provide better quality education. Over the years, efforts have been made to put in place a national platform called Smart Education China, and we have implemented a national strategy on digital education. All these efforts are aimed to pool all the resources possible, all the quality resources for better education. We hope this platform could provide public services non-stop, like a 24/7 supermarket. We can all recall that during the COVID-19 pandemic, China started large-scale online teaching so that when schools close, schooling is not stopped. And this has ensured that under special circumstances in China, where we have the largest group of students, they were able to continue their education without being affected by a large pandemic. This platform was used during the pandemic, as now we enter a new phase of pandemic response after an in-depth analysis of the changes in global education trend and the development of global education. To improve the quality of education, we have combined the efforts from the SMT sector, from education, from relevant industries and relevant experts, and try to figure out, given the large size of China's education, how we could promote the development of this online platform to promote China's quality education, to have more scenarios and services of digital application. You may know that I have been working in ICT area for many years, and after that I've also been working in education for many years. So to my personal understanding, digital education is not only a change in tools and platforms, it is also very important for our students to learn from experience and real practice. It will also be very important for teachers to prepare their lessons and for teachers to improve themselves. Also, such an online platform will provide big data for us to understand students' learning experience, to understand what our students feel about their learning in school and their learning at home. So this will help us better manage our schools and our teaching process. We also hope that this platform could be an important international exchange platform because it will help us improve our digital competence to adapt to a new age of AI. With all the efforts taken, we could see that quality classes are accessible anytime, anywhere. And this online platform has turned many visions into reality. Now, on this platform, primary students can be inspired by academicians with lessons given by those masters. Students from vocational schools can conduct experiments in virtual labs. And they could also operate equipment just online. And also, children in central and western regions can appreciate virtually the precious Jade Dragon in the National Museum in Beijing. Teachers joining the summer seminar can communicate and cooperate with each other regardless of their location. And this has helped us to provide different kinds of training and services at different stages of schooling. Also, a special session was created for senior citizens to enjoy a more fulfilling life in the reading platform. And it will help us in China's endeavor to promote lifelong learning. Minister Wang was also talking about issues about university graduates finding jobs. And on this platform last year alone, nearly 1/3 of university graduates found jobs on this platform. It has helped with their communication and interaction with their future employers. So I'm confident that this platform has become the most important public good in education. It provides very good services to students, teachers, and schools. Last year, in October, I visited a school in Xihaigu in Ningxia. This is a very remote place in China, and I was glad to see that with computers connected, pupils in this place can attend the same class with students in Beijing. So students from these two areas can learn the same lesson, can discuss on the same subject. We attach great importance to digital education because it can help us make quality resources more accessible. It could help improve the quality of overall education, narrowing the digital gap with the cables, and connects classrooms with flat screens. For a country with huge population and imbalanced development like China, to develop digital education is very important. It is not a choice, but a must. It is a worthy cause, and it will truly change. It will truly bring change to us. I often say that for this national platform, we must have a dedicated devotion. Users' stickiness is true recognition, and effective utilization is what we should pursue. We will continue to improve application and service. We hope that students, teachers can all feel that they are they need this platform. Therefore, to promote the development of this platform, we must have better educational resources and facilitate the allocation of resources. We will add in more quality resources on STEM education, aesthetics, and labor skills to benefit the whole society. And also, we will expand the nationwide application of this platform and try to let every child and every school to have access to personalized platforms. So in the coming 2 years, we will select places with urgent needs and proper conditions, especially those in the central and the western regions, to expand the application of this platform. And we will support relevant localities in their using of this platform.
能够更好的因材施教，
In this way,
让学校
we
提高
could
治理能力。
facilitate the
同时，
learning
我们还
of
要做
students
优
and
公
the
共服务资
management
源，
of
搭建
schools.
学习型社会，
At the same time,
实现
we also
终
try
身教育
to
的
provide
数字
more
平台。
public goods and provide
说到
a
这儿呢，
platform to
我想大
facilitate
家
Chinese
今年两会当中还有
society's
一个热议
lifelong
的话题，
learning.
也是这一段时间
A
大家
hot
谈的比
topic
较多
has
的，
also
就是人
attracted
工智
the
能
attention of
与教育。
delegates this year. That is
总理
the
政府
relationship
工作
between
报告
AI
当中也
and
特别提
education.
出
This
开
year's
展人工智能
government
加
work
速。
report
对我们教育
proposed
系统
to
来看，
launch an
人
AI
工智
Plus
能
initiative.
是把金钥匙，
For us in the
它
education sector,
不仅影响
AI is
未
like
来
a
的教育，
golden key.
也影
It
响
will
教
affect
育的未来。
education of the future
这里
and
有
also the
机遇，
future of
也有
education.
挑战。
It brings both
我认为
opportunities and challenges.
要想更好
If
地
we are to
抓住
seize
机
the
遇，应对
opportunities,
挑战，就必须
we
积极
must
地拥抱
embrace
科
the
技与
age
产业的
of
变革。
AI, embrace
主
the
动拥
changes
抱
in science and
智能时
technology
代。
and industries.
未来我们将致力
So going
于培养
forward,
一大批
we
具备
will try
数
to
字素养
train
的教
teachers
师，加
that
强我
is
们在教师队伍
digitally
的建设，
competent.
把人工智能技术深入到
Because
教育教
only
学
when
和
AI
管理
is
全
well
过程上的问
integrated
题，
in teaching
来
and
研究
management
它的有效性、适应性，
can we better
让学生青
equip
年一代更加
ourselves
主动地
with
学，
AI technology?
让教师
Can we
更加创
encourage
造性地教
students to learn?
同时，我
Can
们
we
会加大
encourage
加
teachers
强
to be
人
more
工智能相
creative?
关学科
We
专
will
业
also enhance AI-related
高层次人才培
disciplines
养
and platforms
和
to
科学研究
accelerate
创新能
the
力
training
以及
of
平台
top
建设。
talent on AI.
同时，我们还要加大关注数字教育之下人
Also,
工智能
we will
的
pay
伦理
attention
隐私
to
保护
ethics
等规范
on
性，
AI
来
in
引导
terms
好
of
建
education
设好我们的
to
平
better
台，
protect
并积
people's
极参与
privacy,
参
because
加
these are very
世界
important
关
in
于
the
人工智能
establishment
与教育
and
与伦理
development
相互
of
的关系。
this platform.
我
And
们
we
的
will be
宗
very
旨
active
就是
in
让
international
人人都
exchange
能
on
有
this
更
regard.
好的机会，顺应数字时代，
Our
迎
purpose
接
is to
智
help
能时代，
everyone of the
享
society
受
to
人工
live
智能技
better
术
in
给
the
我们带
AI
来的
age
福祉，
and enjoy the
加强
benefit
中
of
国
this new
智慧教育
technology.
平台的智能
So
化发展，
this platform
推进高水平的
will
国际
be
合作
further
和开放交流
enhanced
是我们的重要任务。
as this
最后
will
呢，
be
我
a
也
top
想跟大家
priority
提
for us
醒
in the
教
educational
育的开
sector.
放性。中国
And
的
let
教
me
育
stress that
是开放的，
education in China
更是开放。
must and always be,
我们这几
will
年
always be
一直
open,
在推
and
动
digital
教育的
education
高水
will
平对外
always
开
be
放，推
open.
动数字教育的
We have
合
been
作
working in this
目
regard
前
over the past
中国
years.
的智慧教育平台已经
So
上线
this
国际
platform,
版
the
多种
Smart
语言
Education
可
of
以向
China has
全世界
launched
提
an
供知识
international
和服务。
version with
同时，中国的
different
智慧教育
language
平台
versions.
去年还获
It
得
has
了
also
联合
won
国
the
教科文
UNESCO
组织
ICT
颁
in
布的计
Education
划里面的
Prize
最高奖。
last year.
它
This
从
is a
另
top
一个角
prize
度
in education
也表明
ICT.
中国智
It
慧教育
shows
平台
that
它的有效
this
性
platform
和它未来发展
is
重要
very
的内容。
relevant, and
许多
also
国
it
家
will
也
be
主
very
动
important for future
希望和
development.
中国
Many
合
countries
作，
have reached
推
us
进数字
and
教
have
育，开启
expressed
本
their
国和
willingness to
更好的
learn
发
and
展。
cooperate.
下一步，我们也会
So we
加
will
强这个
further
领域
enhance
的国际合作
international
交流，也
exchanges
利
in
用
this regard
联合国教科文组织
and
在中
deepen
国设立的
research
STEM
with
教
the
育
support
研究所，
of the
来推
UNESCO
进与世界各国的合
Institute
作，
for STEM
在多边
Education
平
in
台，
Shanghai.
在双边交
We will
流，
also
在
enhance
加
our
强为世界提
cooperation
供
on
人才培养的
multilateral
优质
and
资源方
bilateral
面，
channels
做出中国
to
的努力，
find
做
better
出
and more quality
更好的
resources for
发挥
talent
吧。
training.
简要的
We
说，我
will
们
try
未
to
来的
provide
数字教
China's
育平台
proposal to the
就是
development of
进一步
international digital
加
education.
强优质资源
As for China's digital education platform, we will try to make it first integrated, second to make it intelligent, and third to make it international. So the three keywords are integrated, intelligent, and international, 3 I's. I hope with our efforts, digital education in China can adapt to the changes of education, can better support Chinese modernization. The door has been opened, and we will keep move forward and try to make better contributions to the development of the country and development of the society. Thank you.
请大家继续提问。请中区第5排第1位男士，谢谢。
谢谢主持人，我是来自澳门澳广市的记者。我提出的问题是关于疾病防控的。近日，世界卫生组织总干事谭德赛就 X 疾病爆发的可能性发出警告性，宣称新的变异体和流行病的爆发只是时间的问题，而不是是否会爆发的问题。请问该如何看待 X 疾病？如何防范 X 疾病可能带给我们的一些危害呢？谢谢。
TDM, I have a question on disease prevention and control for Administrator Wang. Recently, Dr. Tedros, Director General of the World Health Organization, issued a warning about the possibility of a next pandemic of disease X. He believes that the next pandemic caused by a new pathogen is a matter of when, not if. What is your view on a disease X, and what should be done to fend off the potential risks of such a disease?
好，谢谢这位澳门朋友的提问。
Thank you for this question from our friend
国际社
from
会
Macau.
对 X 疾病高度关注。
The disease X is of great concern to the international community.
并不代表某
The
一
term
种具体
disease
的疾病，
X does not refer to any
而是由
particular
未
disease.
知病原体引发，可能导致全球大流行的传染病。
Disease X is an infectious disease caused by an unknown pathogen that can potentially cause a global pandemic.
传染快，
Disease X is mainly characterized by its high fertility rate, fast transmission, and propensity to
不
mutate.
确定性，
So there is great
因此
uncertainty as to its
很难
occurrence
对
and
X
development.
疾病的病原体
Therefore, it's
以及
very
发生的时
difficult
间、
to predict what pathogen might cause it and when and where it might occur.
各国专家普遍认为，
Global
受
experts
全球
generally
气候
believe
加
that
速变化，人类活动范围
due
不断
to
扩
the
大，
accelerated global climate
病源
change, the
跨物种传播、
expansion of
频
human
繁发生等
activities,
因素的
and
影响，
frequent transmission of
由
pathogens among
X 疾
species,
病引发全球大流行的风险在持续
there
地
is a
增加。
greater risk of pandemics caused by a disease X.
虽然 X 疾病的发生很难避免，
Although
但
disease
由
X
此引
is
发的大
hard
流
to
行
avoid,
是可以防范和应对
the
的。
pandemic it could cause can be prevented and
我们
tackled.
将深入贯彻习近平总书记
We
关于
will
总体
faithfully
国家安
implement
全观的
the
重要论
important
述，
remarks by General Secretary Xi
坚持
Jinping
底
on a
线思
holistic
维，
approach to national
认
security,
真总结
know
借
what the
鉴
worst-case scenarios
新
are,
冠疫情的防控
carefully
经验，
study and work
会同
and
相
learn
关
from
部
the
门
experience we've got in
提
handling
前谋划，
COVID-19,
下
and
好
work with
先
relevant
手棋，
authorities to
打
boost
好屏障，
preparedness. To win a battle, one
以
needs to
准
take
备工作
preemptive
的确
moves.
定性，
So
应
we
对
need to use
传染病大流行的
better
不确定性。
preparedness to offset the uncertainty of a pandemic.
一是建立健全法律法规体
First,
系，
that
坚持
we
依法
will
防控，
build and improve a
优
system
化
of
资
law
源
and
配置，
regulations, carry out
完
disease
善
prevention and
评级
control
转
according
换
to
的
law,
工作机制。
improve resource allocation, and the mechanism
二
to
是
shift between normal
建立健
operation
全
and emergency
多渠
response.
道监测预警
Second,
体
we will
系，
build and improve a multi-channel
强化传染
monitoring
病
and early
风
warning
险评
system,
估，
and strengthen risk
提升
assessment
早
on
发现
infectious
的能力。
diseases to identify them early on.
三是建立健全应急预案
Third,
体系，
we will build and improve
加
this
强
system
应
of
急队伍
emergency
的演
plans,
练，
organize
做好
more
相关物资
simulation
储备，
exercises for emergency
提升
teams,
应急的
and
处置能力。
stockpile relevant supplies to boost our capacities for handling
建立
emergencies.
健全科学的防控体
Fourth,
系，
we will build and
加大
improve a
科研
system
投
for
入，
science-based
推
response,
进传染
increase
病大
R&D
流行
input,
的
and
前
advance
瞻性研究，
prospective studies
提升
on
科技
pandemics
支撑
caused by
能力。
infectious diseases so that our response
五是
measures are
建立
based
健
on solid
全
science.
群防群控体
Fifth,
系，
we will build and improve the
完善部
system for
门联
public
动机制
participation in disease
和基
prevention and
层的治
control,
理机制，
improve the joint working
广泛
mechanism
开
between
展科普
authorities,
宣教，
and widely
全面
engage
提
with
升
the public
公众健康
to
意识
comprehensively
和
raise
疾
their
病的防
awareness
控
of
能力水
public
平。
health and boost their capacities for disease prevention
传
and
染病
control.
流行没有国界，
Infectious
防范
diseases
应对
are
全
not
球传染
confined
病大
by
流
borders.
行，需要
Preventing
国
and
际社会
addressing
共
pandemic
同努
requires
力
the concerted
携手
effort
出
from
行。
the entire international community.
我们将积极参与全球公共
China
卫
will
生
take
治
an
理，
active part in the global
推
public
动
health
与世
governance,
界卫生组织等国际组织
advance
以及其他
cooperation
国
with
家
the
的合作，
WHO and other international
积极参
organizations
与
and
大
with
流
other
行条
countries,
约缔
and
结
actively participate
和国
in
际卫生
concluding
条
a
例的修订，
pandemic treaty and revising the
为构
international
建
health
人
regulations
类卫生健康
2005,
共同体，
thereby
贡献中国智慧、
contributing Chinese
中国力量。
wisdom and the strength to building a community of health for all. Thank you.
请大家继续提问。 请第一排第4位女士，谢谢。
谢谢主持人。新华社记者提问，我想有个问题提住建部的倪部长。政府工作报告对优化房地产政策、促进房地产市场平稳健康发展提出了明确的要求，请问住建部将如何抓好落实？谢谢。
Xinhua News Agency. My question is for Minister Ni. The government work report has laid out clear requirements for refining real estate policy and promoting sound and steady development of the housing market. What will the Ministry of Housing and Urban-Rural Development do to deliver on that?
对于房地产市场，大家都很关心。
The housing market is of great interest to us all. So I wish to take this opportunity to brief you and to thank you for your interest in our work and in the housing market. In 2023, certain real estate companies experienced a shortage of working capital and the real estate market undergone adjustments. Facing these risks and challenges, under the strong leadership of the Party Central Committee and the State Council, the Ministry worked with relevant authorities to roll out a series of policies. For example, the policy of recognizing those who had previously taken a loan to buy houses as first-time home buyers, and the policy to lower down payment ratio and interest rates, and continue the favorable policy for those who exchange the current house for a better home. We gave guidance to localities to roll out city-specific measures and took solid steps to deliver pre-sold houses on time. So it's fair to say that we have ensured that no systemic risks arose.
但是对于房地产呢，我们不能光看短期。
However, with regard to the housing market, we should not only look at the short term. More important is the medium and long term. The housing market is undergoing a transition. The task of effecting a transition and adjustment and a stabilizing market is still daunting. But judging from the development process of urbanization and the existing of over 30 billion square meters of existing houses to be upgraded. We still have a huge potential in the transition of the real estate sector. We need to firm up confidence and solve problems as they come our way. In this way, we will be able to promote the sound and steady development of the housing market. On implementing the plans in the report, we will focus on stabilizing the market, forestalling risks, and facilitating the transition, and work in these three priorities. First is stabilizing the market. We give guidance to municipal governments to make good use of their discretion over regulation. Houses are immovable properties. Houses in Shanghai and in Guangzhou cannot be moved to Beijing to satisfy residents in Beijing's housing needs. So the housing market is based on the cities it resides in. The different markets have differences in terms of their supply and demand. So that's why we emphasize the need to have city-specific and targeted measures. Now we have already given cities wide discretion over housing regulation. Hence, the local governments need to do well in formulating and materializing housing development plans. Consider their respective needs and refine relevant policies and refine housing policies and stabilize the market. The second is to forestall risks. We will support the reasonable financing needs of housing companies of different types of ownership. During our survey, we see that some good companies, well-operating companies, do have some difficulties, but some companies in distress also have good projects. So, in light of this, we will work with the local government to establish mechanisms to coordinate finance for housing projects. and to compose whitelists on a one project, one plan basis, treating all companies equally in supporting their financial needs. So far, 312 cities above prefecture level have set up this mechanism. In terms of this whitelist, we have seen that the projects amount to about 6,000. Among them, about 82% belong to private companies or companies with mixed ownership. As of February, commercial banks have approved over 200 billion yuan of loans. But I have to stress here that companies with serious insolvency or can no longer operate need to file for bankruptcy or restructuring if their situation demands it according to law and market rules. Actions that undermine people's interests will be punished according to law, and those who seek unlawful gains will be held accountable. Third, facilitating the transition and making sure our people can live well. Last November, General Secretary Xi Jinping visited a residential compound in Shanghai called Home of City Builders and Managers in the New Era. He emphasized that cities not only need to grow, but also need to care for the people. We need to make sure that new urban residents can come, stay, have a good life, and establish themselves in the city. General Secretary's profound love and care for the people is indeed touching and inspiring. We will bear in mind his words, focus on building government-subsidized homes, both for renting and for sale, provide diverse choices of home types, such as a dormitory-style room, a single room, or a suite, and strive to give new urban residents, young people, and migrant workers places to live in. In this way, they will be well established in the city to fight for their better life. Thank you.
媒体朋友们，因为时间的原因，今天的记者会到此结束。谢谢各位嘉宾，谢谢大家。
Friends from the media, in the interest of time, the press.
That was the press conference in the agenda for the 14th National People's Congress, and the press conference was about people's livelihood. Officials from various sectors took questions from reporters regarding, for example, education, job, health, and housing. Those are very important issues regarding Chinese people's livelihoods, and we'll keep focusing on these problems or issues or opportunities doing our reporting going forward. But for now, we are going to talk to Mr. Li Yong, chief researcher at a DNC think tank, to have a bit of a digest of the press conference. Because you just heard the whole event. What struck you the most regarding these topics, for example, education, job, health, housing? What are you looking at?
Well, I think, this is really a comprehensive press conference because, there are 12 questions, being asked and directed at, different issues, concerns, problems, and so on and so forth. And 4 of the ministers, each of them answered about 3 questions. And I have a feeling that, the questions are kind of sharp and very targeted, based on their, on Jordan's understanding of the people's concern, people's hope for, future improvement and so on and so forth. And when you look at the answers, they are very comprehensive, very complete, and more importantly, very detailed. It's not a kind of answer, but it is also kind of a review of what has been done, what is the current situation, and what the future will be. And you can see a lot of, kind of a strategic thinking, being put in those answers. That reflected, the strategic, arrangements or strategic thinking, in each of the aspect, being touched by the conference or by the ministers. So that I think will inject a lot of confidence, assurance for people looking forward for changes and transformation of their lives in years to come.
Well, let's talk more about the public well-being here, because it's a very important matter throughout the past year. And I mean, China has been calling on fostering new growth drivers, on solving pressing problems facing people's livelihoods.
Yes.
What's your understanding of this, and how can the government better balance the economic development with social welfare?
Well, this is really a very good question, because a lot of people may put a lot of emphasis or attention on how the economy will develop and what will be the drivers. But normally they put less attention to the outcome. And I think all the economic policies or the effort to really develop new economic drivers are for the purpose of improving people's life. So there's a kind of a complicated policy choices to make sure that there's a balance. For example, the population aging problem. You need to have a kind of a proactive policy to make sure that the pension or the aging problems are kind of resolved. At the same time, you're supposed to, the government, the decision makers, you need to make sure that the economic growth are not kind of be undermined. So that needs a kind of a balance. But from those the answers of the ministers, you can clearly see the logic. How do they see the current problem, for example, and what will be the effective measures, and the kind of future scenarios. And obviously there is a kind of a risk awareness in terms of tackling what is going to happen in the future, and what kind of measures or strategic responses to future contingencies.
We'll continue our conversation in just a bit, because we're going to talk about education here. My colleague Cao Shufeng talks to one deputy in the National People's Congress who serves as a teacher in the vocational education sector. He says he plans to submit suggestions on the development of highly skilled talents.
Born in 1997, Yang Donghui is one of the youngest deputies in the National People's Congress, or NPC, from Guangdong Province. After winning a gold medal at the World Skills Competition, he became a teacher at Guangdong Machinery Technician College. He says he can feel China is paying much attention to cultivating skilled talents.
In recent years, the state has closely monitored the development of highly skilled talent. There's a desire for outstanding talents to become members of the CPPCC or NPC deputies, advocating more effectively for skilled talents.
NPC deputies serve in part-time roles and come from diverse backgrounds. Part of their responsibility involves hearing the voices of people from all walks of life, submitting recommendations based on the concerns they hear.
My profession involves cultivating highly skilled talents. I naturally get to know the different challenges present in the sector. Other teachers also provide me with diverse opinions and suggestions. My role is to listen to these suggestions, compile them into recommendations, and ultimately submit them to the NPC.
China's vocational education law says that vocational education is as important as general education, and the country will drive the development of both in a unified manner. But Yang Donghui's experience tells him there's still room for improvement in the vocational education sector, and he plans to write down his suggestions on this subject for this year's 2 sessions.
General education and vocational education are 2 tracks in China, and these 2 tracks do not often merge. Those who understand technical areas may not necessarily have hands-on practical skills, while those who excel in practical skills may not necessarily process theoretical knowledge. I hope we can develop a national-level platform that integrates these 2 tracks to cultivate individuals who are knowledgeable, skilled, and innovative.
China believes cultivating technical talents is important to helping the country achieve its high-quality development goals. Official statistics in 2023 states that medium to higher level vocational schools annually produce around 10 million highly skilled talents. 曹楚峰 CGTN 广州。
Let's continue our conversation with Mr. Li Yong, a chief researcher at DNC think tank. So the story just talked about vocational education, and it has a lot to do with China's ambition to create over 12 million new jobs in urban areas for this year.
Right.
What's your take on China's overall education policy and job creation goal?
Well, there's a certain type of connection between education and jobs. First, we need to look at the education, and in today's press conference, there are three areas, three questions related to education. One is about how education is going to provide needed talents for the high quality development or high new quality productive forces. And this is very key. I think if that is going to represent the future of education, which means that new quality productive forces requires talents, right? Talents, being that might not being able to be supplied by the traditional education system, traditional collegial curriculum, and so on and so forth. So you can see there's going to be, I think, transition and transformation in the education system that will serve the purpose of providing needed talents for high quality.
It's like a supply-side reform for education.
Yes, exactly. That's it. And vocational training basically stresses on emphasis on the, closing the skill gaps that exist, to hinder the expansion of employment, and also requires upgrading of the skill sets.
Yeah, so to be very precise in terms of job creation, how do you look at the number, the 12 million new jobs? Is it going to be mainly, people graduated from vocational education programs?
Right, I think a majority of them, because we are looking at potentially a total number of 11.79 million new fresh graduates. That I think is going to put a lot of pressure, on the employment situation. But from the press conference, we can clearly see the confidence and corresponding measures, to make sure that there will be enough job opportunities being created by implementing, support systems, mechanisms, or even government subsidies to make sure that they are going to be able to find their desired jobs. And there's a kind of interesting linkage between job creation and the digital education, because digital education provides future job seekers with the ability of managing their, for example, their job preferences, and many of them may choose, for example, as a kind of a gig economy worker or gig workers. And even in developed countries, look at the United States, for example, gig workers, they are representing a kind of a new force. It's not really kind of a gig, because their ability as a result of the digital development, digital economy, and perhaps the future of AI development, they are able to position themselves as a kind of a new workforce.
Sophisticated freelancers.
Exactly. That is not really kind of a simple freelancer, but a kind of a sophisticated with this particular skill sets, and that will provide them a kind of a new life-work balance. That I think it is also going to be the trend that we need to look at when we look at new job opportunities in China.
And just to get your quick thoughts on the retirement part of the economy, because China's population is aging, what's the major challenges to tackle then?
Right. I think right now we know of the negative impacts of population aging, and that requires, government response particularly in terms of how, for example, to reduce the so-called dependency ratio, and behind it, how we should establish a kind of a pension system, for example, the individual or what is called geriatric insurance system. And right now we are seeing that a new private, they call it private pension system is being tested, and I think it is going to be implemented on a larger scale. Yeah. And I think all those are intended to alleviate or mitigate the pressure of aging problem, population problem. And we can also see, other initiatives like, the so-called active aging.
Right.
Yes, and that, I think probably active aging will involve some sort of extended retirement age, or encouraging older people to be, to be part of the workforce. Yes.
Yeah, because healthy cash flows for those retired.
Yes, that's it.
Thank you so much for your insights. As always, Mr. Li Yong, a chief researcher at DNC think tank. And that's going to do it for this special coverage of the NPC session. We just heard a lot from this press conference regarding people's livelihoods in China. We'll keep you updated on further press conferences, and stay tuned for more news coming up next. I'm Xiaoping in Beijing. Bye for now.